Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? We're all doing very, very well. Now it's early doors at the moment, early doors. It's only about 7:30 in the morning. So I'm just drinking tea. Whisk tea. No, it's just tea. Cheers y'all. Now, before you all go, ooh, that looks interesting, all that set design you've put into play there, Kilt-Man, what's that all about? Well, as you can see, I've got my own tank barrel, my own rigged up tank barrel right here, with a little tiny tank behind the bread bin. I've got my tank commander there. I've got lots of paraphernalia, because the idea was, this was all set up last night for me to do a big celebration of the film Kelly's Heroes. I've talked about it recently, in fact in a previous video, where we got that wonderful magazine there from our good friend on the Emerald Isle, Captain Ronnie, and it inspired me to not only talk about Kelly's Heroes, but I've watched it about 3 times. It's only been about a day, and it's a long movie, but I love it. So we're going to get that celebration later on today. The reason why it didn't happen yesterday when I got this all set up was because the Liverpool game was on. Liverpool, their return match against Real Madrid. Liverpool had to get 4 goals. They didn't get any. In fact, the opposite happened. Real Madrid got a goal. So that's it. That's Liverpool out of the Champions League. Da-da. So that kind of plummeted my mood somewhat. So I didn't do the video. But it is coming later on today. It's all set up. Didn't do this for nothing, obviously. But I woke up this morning with something else to think about, to ruminate on, to rant about. Because in our house, in the mansion, we wake up to the radio. The radio, not the alarm, the radio comes on, and it's BBC Radio Merseyside, because Mrs. Kilt-Man has always listened to that channel since before me and her got together. She was a massive fan of it, so all the years we've been together, I've had to wake up to that. And Mrs. Kilt-Man, obviously. And this morning we woke up to, well, it wasn't BBC Radio Merseyside. It was some wank shaft from Radio Lancashire. And what it is, folks, is this. And we're going to go a few little places with this, so bear with me. All your normal local BBC radio presenters and producers and content managers are on strike. Yes, that new British pastime of being on strike. Get on this. My daughter is at home for 2 days. It's the 2nd day because all the teachers are on strike. You've got all the junior doctors are on strike. You've got rail strikes, you've got bus strikes, you've got everyone's on strike. And in fact, yesterday, I was on strike as well. All of the civil service and people working for the government were on strike. So I was on strike. And I've only got literally about 9 days left before I quit anyway. So, hey, what the hell? I've never, broken union rules in my life, and I'm not about to start right now. But anyway, all the local radio presenters and content producers for BBC local radio around the country, which is I think 39 different stations, were on strike. Why? Because the BBC, who are under constant flack and yet don't seem to give a shit. Constant flack. All the grief they caused Gary Lineker. You'd have to Google that because that's all coming to an end now, but has it really? And their previous boss was also in cahoots with Boris Johnson, and lots of finance was arranged. They're meant to be impartial, which was the whole thing about the Gary Lineker stuff, about the lack of impartiality, when they're anything but impartial, and they're obviously bolstering and looking after the Tories. Oh yeah, hypocritical, methinks? Yes. And illegal also? Actually, yes. But, so, in their infinite lack of wisdom, the Beeb, anti-Beeb, as Terry Wogan would put it, the great Terry Wogan, who was a stalwart of the BBC when the BBC meant something, when our licence fee guaranteed quality and they had integrity for many decades, but not the last few decades. Oh no, you just ask Sir Cliff Richard about that. Yeah, see how they almost ended his life with their intrusion and their lies. So, the face of the BBC right now is not a kindly old aunt, anti-Beeb and Terry Wogan. It's more like that, a fucking Nazi monster. Because what they want to do, folks, the reason why local radio presenters are out on strike today, the BBC wants to cut back on all local radio programming. There's 39, I I heard this on the radio just before, because they were talking about it with these strangers who were admitting, look, you've woken up with a strange bedfellow. Well, who hasn't done that once in a while? You've woken up with a strange bedfellow this morning, and I'll try to explain why. And this prick, in a really sort of, it was a cack-handed sort of way. He was saying, well, you've got to put up with me now, but hey, so what? It's because everyone else is on strike, so you've got to listen to me now. And by the way, you might have to get used to this as well, because it's going to be the normal thing, possibly, from a short while onwards. Because the BBC wants to amalgamate all of these independent local radio stations into more regional. So we'd be getting Lancashire and possibly even Yorkshire. So your programming in the morning, your breakfast show, some of your mid-morning and early afternoon shows, which are the big sort of prime things for local radio. In the evening times, there's like drive time and sort of news, but then it all goes into sort of like, I don't know, jazz and, pillow talk, that sort of thing. But your news content comes out breakfast time and throughout the morning and into the afternoon, and obviously the early evening news. They want to take away all of that, and you'll have a blanket sort of broadcast with obviously cherry-picked presenters out of these 39, or probably even bring in new ones, who knows. So that throughout those parts of the day, it'll be saturated by just what they want you to hear as a nationwide thing. So you'll have all of the presenters who would normally give their sort of opinions and word it their ways will not be there. But well, okay, the news is the news. But we also know that the news is the news that they want you to hear. It's not the news that's actually genuinely happening. They're feeding you a narrative. Main media news outlets are lying to you, folks. And they have been for quite some time. They're lying. Now, in the context of local radio, and radio, schmadio, I don't really give two fucks about radio. I just wake up to it, but I don't like someone coming in with draconian new policies, which is exactly what they're doing. So we're going to make it into a regional thing. Yeah, regional. So all of the Northwest. Radio Merseyside covered a huge area, but, it concentrated on the Liverpool city region. So all your local community centres, the one thing I like about local radio is it boosts charity and local community services. And they're forever discussing all of this. And for many people in that region, that's the one place they're going to find out about these specialised areas of support for mental health, for anything else, for plumbing, for whatever, but things in their local community and charity and events. It serves as a focal point for a local sort of emporium for the things that matter to the people in that area. But you get fucking, I don't know, Hillary bullshitter up in Cumbria fucking waffling on about shit around the Lake District. Well, how's that going to affect us? Not in the least. It's going to be, but the idea is no, because the big head of the BBC, or well, not the big head of the BBC, a little head, one of the little minions was interviewed, and he said, oh, no. It's not going to change anything at all. It's just we're making things more of a mass appeal to the broader, sort of overview of the listening public. What this is, folks, is the first step in making the whole thing state-run. Oh, Kilt-Man, really? Is it early? Are you still dreaming, Kilt-Man? No, I'm not. Because what they're going to do, what they have always wanted to do, like China, like Russia, it'll be a state-run media. So they'll only hear and be shown what they want you to hear and to see. That's it. And they're starting now, the BBC's starting this right now with this campaign to amalgamate and sort of shunt away all the localised stuff. Because in so doing, you'll lose the local presenters who know the area, who know the people. All that colloquialism, that familiarity that you have will be gone. And you'll be hearing someone else's accents and bullshit, But also, if they've got these regions all, right, you're all saying the same thing, pretty soon, you won't just have like 6 or maybe 10 different regions. You'll have one and the BBC will have BBC Radio. That's it. And they'll tell you exactly, and of course, their track record for impartiality ain't very good. And their one-sided, agenda-driven narrative, the Beeb are a right shower of bastards. Do not trust them. They used to be the pillar of integrity. You used to be proud of it. Now you're paying £159 a year for a load of shite. Happy Valleys, oh get lost. EastEnders, oh shove it. You know, content's gone to rack and ruin. Now, you've got, well, don't worry, you've always got commercial radio. Yeah, you have commercial radio. And commercial radio, which actually I find, if I'm going to put radio on, which I'm not ever really, I'd put on something which is just going to play music. I'd go on to 80s stuff, or Rock FM, something like that. But I know what I'm getting there, because when they do the news, it's just a little tiny snippet of news, because they don't really care. The news isn't what is selling their channel. But if you need to hear news, it was great to hear people from your area discussing it, people from the surrounding areas, from the authoritarian superstructure but in your area, being interviewed by people from your area. It brought it home all the more. Now it won't do that, and now there'll be one manifesto. Okay, they'll roll it out slowly, within 2 years. If they're successful with this, by amalgamating all these different regions, the 39 into 10, I think it is, something like that, different regions, and you'll get the same blanket news out of all of that, and they'll be excising as well other content, and once they begin to get a foothold and start taking over, then you'll start losing all the other programming as well, and it become the programming that they want you to hear. Folks, I am not wrong. I know I've just woken up, but straight away, I've got John Carpenter's score for They Live on. Yeah, wake up, because you're basically they're making you obey. Just listen, buy, marry, just buy your way into the system, and we'll take care of you because you're just sheep. You are just a commodity to us. That's all population are now. So they're on strike. The local radio presenters are on strike for today. And one of their union, their spokesman was interviewed, and he was given very short thrift. So again, you've already got that. They're marginalising, the impact. Oh, they're arguing over nothing. And this prick of a Lancashire presenter, I don't know his name, don't want to know his name. He's the one that actually interviewed the BBC spokesman, and he said, well, they're saying 39 radio stations, you're going to lose them. No. There'll still be 39 radio stations. Of course there will. It's just that we're going to change the programming. Oh, well, that's all right then. So he's got it wrong. Yes, he's got it wrong, yeah. And it's a bit of misinformation that's been dealt out there. So this presenter is going along with the narrative of the BBC, right? Obviously he's going to, because it's next in the noose, isn't it? If he doesn't agree with it all. You're either with us or you're against us. And if you're against us, you're gone. That's the BBC's fucking mantra right now. But the thing is, the point I'm making is, if they start to do this blanket sort of thing and amalgamate stations, within less than 2 years, it'll be one BBC station preaching the propaganda that they want you to hear. And if you want to just be blind to the whole thing, then you listen to commercial radio and just, like I said before, just music or whatever. You'd have to actively go out and find, the other side of the news, the two extremes of the news, and it's not right wing and left wing. Right wing and left wing don't mean a damn thing anymore. They're exactly the same. They work for the same ends. They're always doing deals with each other now. And it's all corporate driven. Everything's corporate driven. And you don't need me to tell you this, because you're not stupid, But this, although I'm hardly, the Beeb's biggest fan, you shouldn't be paying a fucking licence fee for the shite that they put out. You shouldn't be doing it at all. Totally disagree with it, because they're a bunch of absolute wankers. They've treated the population, the viewing public, like idiots. And of course, they're just drip feeding us shit all the time. Oh, game shows and bullshit like that, just to keep you quiet. And I'm not saying that all the commercial TV stations are any different because they're exactly the same. That's what I'm saying. Everything is the same. There is no other side. You've got to find someone in the grey area, in the middle, who you can listen to and trust, who will give you the real facts, because they'll look on both sides of the argument and disseminate and research it, and get all the documentation and read out what they don't read out to you. So, and that's what the news presenters will be doing. There's what you're going to read out, and that'll be right across the thing, and that'll filter into the actual program content as well. So you'll be getting a generalized content, and then you'll be living in fucking Beijing or Moscow. Cheers, y'all. And folks, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I've just heard what's happening, and that's clearly what is the next step. They're just going to make it all one thing. This country, all the Western world, seems to want to do the same thing. USA, Canada, you know, the amount of double dealing and backstabbing and sort of political infidelity that's taking place in America and Canada is truly unbelievable. You really don't know what's happening over there. And the thing is, the people in power are made up about that because they know that the vast majority of the population don't know either. So they get away with it. They get away with murder all the time. And then if someone speaks out, oh, they're shot down in flames, got a tinfoil hat and all that. Bullshit. Bullshit. Kelly's heroes got it so right. Kelly gets sold out. Clint Eastwood's character, Kelly, is a lieutenant, but he's given orders to attack the wrong hill, and many GIs get killed in the process. So the further up the chain, they realise, oh shit, we made a mistake here. Well, we'll make him the scapegoat. It's all his fault. So he gets demoted to being a private, right? But then he cottons onto the fact that in a bank behind enemy lines in mostly German-occupied France, there's like 16 million in gold bullion, Nazi gold. So he hatches a plan. Well, this war's given nothing to us. It's just taken from us. Why don't we set a little something aside for ourselves? So in a sort of a freelance enterprise with a few chosen buddies, they do a clandestine hit and run to go and get the gold. And it's a fabulous heist come wartime caper movie. There's laughs, there's action, and there's incredible characters like Donald Sutherland's Oddball, which is, he's the man, he's the main man. But, so, if the governments are lining their own pockets and lying to us, why the fuck don't we do the same to them? Fuck them off. Find a way. You got to hustle. You got to shiest. Do it, because they're doing it to you. They're robbing you, they're taxing you, and they're lying to you. Fight back. Fight back, folks. Find ways of fighting back. So, morning, y'all. But gotta love that score, haven't you? Doon, 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 doon. It's just awesome stuff. And of course, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum. One of the classic lines of this movie. Folks, I'll be back later with Kelly's Heroes. Or it should be called Kilty's Heroes. Because I'm going to get a team together. Yeah, get some tanks. Some down the road. Anyway, folks, please do your own research. I mean, I know I'm saying, I'm right. Well, fuck, I'm going to say that. But you do your homework. You listen and you look into and you read up on all these things. Don't just take what the faces on the TV screen say to you or the voices over the airwaves say to you, because they're telling you a narrative that's been rammed down their throats. They're brainwashed. And it's coming out in just verbal spiel, and we all just plod along. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, the world's terrible. Yeah, because they want you to think it's terrible. They want you to live in a totally manufactured arena of fear. That's what they want. Keep the population afraid, and then you can make them do anything you want. And you pretend you're doing it for their own good. It's so simple, isn't it? It's almost majestic, you know, the simplicity of a plan like that. Right, anyway, Kilt-Man out. I'm going to see you all. Haters. I was going to put my finger down the barrel then. Oh, look, look. No, there's something I could say there. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm thinking.